been a hot minute since the last time I got to say this. But hello YouTube, happy Monday. Welcome back to the continuation of this series where I take a look at the characters that were featured on the previous episode, or the one that just came out, of the Perfect Origin arc anime that is currently airing as of the recording of this video. So if I linked up my uploads properly, then this video will be going up right after Brocken Jr. finished his fight. It was a really neat fight, I hope. And again, hoping that I didn't get this time wrong. I think the episode structure for the Perfect Origin arc season 2 is not quite as clear to me, at least at this point yet, as season 1 does. So maybe I might get it a bit off, in which case I apologize in advance. But Brocken Jr. has been kind of the star of this week's episode, so I do kind of want to take a bit of a look at him, kind of introduce him to a lot of folks, right? Last season, we got to see like a lot of the Devil Chojins in action. This season, it's all about the Justice Chojins and, Springman and Buffalo Man, but, that's separate. Yeah, Brocken Jr. Let's kind of jump into him. Maybe you saw the episode from last week as well as like this week's newest episode, and you found him really cool, right? You found him like really neat. He does have, the Red Rain of Berlin. That's his like signature move, and thankfully it is good. You will be using it quite a lot as Brocken Jr. So he's definitely very faithful to his, appearance in the series. He does like a lot of these like chops, right? He has just a lot of kind of chopping moves, right? Kind of just representing like the whole, I'm gonna cut you with my hand and stuff like that. So it's very much reflected in this character. But flavor aside, how is Brocken in MGP2? Brocken is a very straightforward character. You will find, and maybe this is like a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the other Justice Shojins in this game, as well as if you're watching this with the other videos already out. I guess basically I think I'm spoiling my future videos here. Justice Shojins are all relatively very beginner friendly, or at least like they're very well-rounded characters, which I think that makes sense, right? You want your main characters, your heroes, to be like the pretty beginner friendly, to be pretty like well-rounded, standard, because they know that these are gonna be like some of your most popular characters, right? Brocken is very popular in Japan, so naturally they made him very easy to kind of pick up and play and kind of get a good going on. He's a very intuitive moveset. He has like, really solid strings. Like he has a really fast jab, like it's like an 11 frame jab, and he has some really good buttons too in neutral, such as his 8A and his 2A, or his like 214A. Good launchers between his 66A as well as his 623A. Those are all really good ways to just get people in the air and just get a solid juggle off of them. Because juggles look something like this. They're not the easiest juggles in the world, but they're not very difficult, and they do feel kind of good to do because you're basically like linking into like this little downward chop that does cause like the air knockdown, right? And then like with most characters, after that SKD, you are able to OTG off of that. It's a bit difficult with Brocken though, because timing wise it can be a little bit tricky because his OTG for A is like really slow, so timing it can be a little bit tricky. But it feels really good when you do get it. Yeah, there you go. And that adds like a decent chunk of damage to your juggles, which was really good. Brocken has these really good counter pokes, like with his 8A and being able to just go over things, right? If your opponent is just trying to like throw you, for example, something like this, right? You're able to like react with an 8A. It can be a bit difficult to react, but especially unless you do it a bit early. But you can just react with an 8A, which is like really nice. And this 8A like can combo into a throw. It can combo into a 5S, if I can get it. Right, for like a knockdown. And it can even combo into a special throw. So that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. In general, like Brocken like is kind of like with who really rewards good MGP2, and honestly like kind of like fighting game fundamentals, because he has like a lot of really good hit confirms between his 2A comboing into 5S, right? His jab combos into 5S. He can like this string combos into 5S. 8A combos into 5S, right? So a lot of stuff that you can just go, oh, this 2A hits. let me cancel into 5S for the knockdown, right? It's a very satisfying game plan, I think, and it's like very intuitive because it's just a lot of hit confirming, a lot of playing neutral and like, you know, pressuring, which kind of like is really solid but not broken buttons. So it's just like a very solid, well-rounded, very like, you know, good Christian gameplay out of like this young fella here. He still has, you know, good special throws to kind of like cash out on damage, obviously. So he still has like access to like those. 214S Bremen Sunset, that's kind of like his best special throw. Again, it's OTG, but it can be like a little bit strict with the spacing. So I'm not getting it, but trust me, that should be guaranteed. So I don't know, I'm not getting it. But if you want positioning, he also has like a 4-6S, which is like less damage, but it does kind of leave them right on top, like right in front of Brocken if he just wants better positioning, right? So yeah, Brocken kind of has a lot of access, like a lot of really nice tools like that. He has like this like alright while running move, right? This 214A Sobat, you know me, I think Sobats are great moves that are always great to just kind of go over things, to just like poke from like a mid range. And the Sobat pretty consistently too, I think, combos into like this a really fast like juggle, like really fast like launcher. So it's unlike most Sobats where, because it's a heavy stun, coming off of it, they're kind of iffy. Brocken normally doesn't have no issue because he can always just do this into that, and that generally always combos. If you want to be a bit spicy, Brocken even has like this poison gas move. This is really good for juggles. You can juggle into it, and it can be used as kind of like a combo extender. If I can use it, it's been a while since I used like this move, like something like that, right? And the thing is, this poison gas like costs a little bit, but it does drain your opponent's meter. Let me actually like turn off their meter gain so I can show that off a little bit better. It drains like 3 bars, and that's like really cool, right? This applies even if you use the move like in a juggle. If I can actually like land it, right? So you can basically like deny people's meters mid juggle. That's pretty neat. It's also good for like pressuring people, right? You kind of like they're in the corner, and like because if they're blocking, for example, like in the corner, if you poison gas them, it can row bounce them if it hits early enough. So yeah, here in the corner, if I hit them with the poison with the gas, actually, yeah, there you go. It's a bit position specific, right? But the idea is that you can kind of like pressure them with this, and then like force them to block that, and then kind of like hit them with something else. So there's a projectile. So like it's not something a lot of guys like have in this game, and you can basically kind of use it to like pressure like people this way. And it's like a pretty solid tool, right? So yeah, Brocken, I think it's just a not really not too much to say about Brocken, honestly. He's really just a very solid character with a lot of these really good tools, very intuitive tools, between his, you know, hit confirms and pressure, and just being able to confirm, whether that's confirming 2As into 5Ss or confirming 8As into Bremen Sunsets. You know, he just like does a lot of the hit confirming, a lot of the pressuring, just an overall good character. Really like not much else I could add from that, really. I guess if there is one knock against Brocken, it is the fact that his damage is pretty low. He is very fair in that regard. His jab only does like 36 damage, so he's a damage rating 12 character. His juggles, if you notice that, I mean, actually like get like the knockdown. Yeah. His juggles, right? They only do 168 damage if you don't go for the OTG. Even with the OTG, it's only like 240 something, which is way lower than most characters, right? A lot of characters like juggles routinely goes up like the 300s. Brocken basically can't really break that unless you have like a really good starter like 214A. So that's kind of a weakness that does mean Brocken have to hit the opponent a lot of times. But just with the amount of like stray hits he can get, like just randomly gets this into 5S, that's one on this 120, his damage adds up. I guess a good way to define Brocken is that he's not really a character who wins by like getting 2 or 3 really good hits. He's a character who kind of has to hit you 5-6 times, but he has a really easy time finding those 5 or 6 hits because he just has such a, maybe not, amazing or super strong, but just a very solid, very functional, very like well-rounded toolset, right? And so because of this, that I often recommend Brocken for a lot of beginners. Brocken is intuitive to play. His moveset kind of makes sense. There's nothing like too weird or too broken about him. Brocken. Sorry, awful joke. So you can kind of just take him for a spin, kind of feel out his movesets, and then you can get, and then once you get a sense of like, okay, this is how Brocken works, you can get pretty far by just doing like his basic fundamental stuff, as long as you're able to, you know, play better than the other guy. Brocken is a really solid character, but even regardless of like, you know, how good he is, I do strongly believe he's one of the best beginner characters in MGP2. And because of that, if you are new to MGP2 and you really are concerned about finding like a beginner-friendly character, Brocken, I think, is a really good choice. Besides Kinnikuman that I talked about all about like in the couple videos ago in the series, Kinnikuman is probably like my shout out for like probably like the most beginner-friendly character in the game. But hot and heals, I almost want to say it's probably Brocken because he just has pretty much a lot of what you want to be doing in this game, and it's very simple and easy to understand without anything too weird or too complicated, right? He's just Brocken. He's just a good boy. He's just a good boy. And as always, I'll leave you with Brocken Super. It's pretty neat. It's kind of just the Red Rain of Berlin, where he just like does this. It's a strike super, so that's that's not amazing, but it is what it is. He's a little bit on the chop, and then like the opponent has a big falling animation. Brocken has like a million years to OTG off of that, so it's kind of like decent damage, and it's like a pretty cool looking one. His other super, unfortunately, you never use it because you can't OTG off of it. But it's, I guess like it looks also like pretty neat. Kind of just like chops you a whole lot more. The damage is the same, but you just like can't OTG off of it at all, which is like just really sucks, unfortunately, compared to the 236A super, right? So yeah, that's kind of Brocken in a nutshell. Starting off this video back off with a pretty shorter entry this time around, because there just really honestly isn't much to say about Brocken. Not because he's bad, not because he's lacking, just because he's just Brocken. He just does things decently well, nothing too amazing, nothing too bad. He's just Brocken. He's just Brocken. Sorry, ignore that. Give him a try. If you liked him, he's a very solid choice. You can't really go wrong with playing Brocken. So, take him for a spin if the anime inspired you to play him. That said, though, next up on our list, I believe, assuming that I'm not spoiling anything with the anime previews and I didn't change it from the manga, we should have Ramen Man up next after Brocken. So look forward to that video. I have my work cut out for me because I'm not the best Ramen Man player out there. So let's hope that between this video being recorded and going up and the next time I have to upload a video, I will have time to, you know, brush up on my Ramen Man a little bit. So if you're a Ramen Man enjoyer, look forward to that video. And yeah, keep watching the anime, keep playing MGP2.